Hi, this is Neil Cole from Conversion Uplift. Today I'm going to talk to you about registering custom dimensions and metrics. Now, custom dimensions and metrics are those parameters you send with events from GTM. So for instance, here I've got a generate lead event, which fires when a user goes to the contact us form. Now, the parameters are form ID and form subject, so they give me some information on the nature of the submission. Now, these custom dimensions, in this case, have to be registered. Otherwise, you won't be able to analyze them in your exploration reports in GA4. So it's necessary to go to the GA4 console to register them. So we go to admin. And then we go down to custom definitions. And here you've got a choice of custom dimensions and custom metrics. So in this case, I've registered most of my custom dimensions, but I'm going to register one now. So I click on create custom dimensions and we've got the name here. Now what I do is I've documented the custom dimensions and metrics that I use according to the nature of the dimension and metric. So there are some inbuilt metrics that Google has predefined, but even those I find often need registering. So for instance, link URL. So what I've done here is I've got the actual dimension name that I send to GA4, which is using lowercase underscore between each part of the dimension name. And then I've got what I call it here in the description. So I'll copy that. And this just avoids any problems with spelling mistakes. And then I just paste that into the custom dimension name and do the same for description. And then I would normally paste the dimension name in here, but in this instance, if it's already been sent to GA4, it should show up. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. It may be that it's just not come through because often it takes 24 hours or so for a new parameter to come through. Okay, and then we can essentially, remove that down, save the dimension. It's an event scope dimension. We do have other types of dimensions. So user scope, an item is to do with e-commerce, and user is where it is something specific to the user. For instance, an affiliate ID or a user ID, something like that. But in this case, it's related to an event, so we keep it at the default of event. We just save that. Okay. Then we also need to think about custom metrics. So custom dimensions are categories, how you group users or sessions, while metrics are a measure, a measure of something over time or a number of events, for instance. So in this case, I've got some custom metrics to the page load speed. Now I've started the process by registering 3 of them. I've still got a few more to go. So if I go back to my documented list, the metrics are all in milliseconds. I've done page load time, done DNS, so I need to do redirect response time. So I just copy that. And I click on create custom metric this time, paste the name in and similar the description. And then I can start typing because it will come up, which it has. Then the important thing is you need to set the unit of measurement. Now, if it's just a number, you can click standard, but if it's something else, then you need to click the appropriate one. In this case, it's milliseconds. Now, one thing I would say about some metrics, including the page load speed, is that because this is not a standard metric that GA4 has inbuilt, it can't average out the page load speed. So to use the data, I have to export it via BigQuery and either analyze it in BigQuery or send it on to Data Studio, where I can average the data out. That's something to bear in mind, because if I put page load speed as a dimension, as a metric into a GA4 custom table, it will come out with a huge number, because all it does is add up all the different page load speeds, which is obviously not very helpful. So that's something to bear in mind. So I will do another one. So the next one is server response time. And so I just copy and paste. So again, create custom metric. I can paste that in. And server response time comes up, because I'm already sending it. And then I just need to set the time to milliseconds and save that. Now, it is important to plan your parameters, because there are limits. So if we look here, there are actually limit of 50 event scope custom dimensions, and the same for custom event scope custom metrics. So the key thing here really is to plan your events and your parameters so that you reuse the same parameters names, that is, as much as possible, which is what I've done here with my documentation. I try and use certain parameters such as element name as often as I can, and that is quite descriptive, so it's easy to remember that if I'm looking for a parameter for a specific event where it's clicking on an element, it's likely to be called element name. The other thing to do is make sure you document the options in terms of element name, which you can do by going to GA4 and simply creating a custom table of element name in rows, and add the either the event number or total users to see how many times that's being collected at the moment. And then you can copy and paste that into your documentation, so you've got a list of all the element name options that you can use in your reporting. So that's it for custom dimensions and metrics. I hope you found that useful, and I'll be posting more videos shortly. Thank you. Bye.